Three.
We're back with another episode of the Santa Boot First podcast. Get on the train. You're on notice. The league is on notice. We're going to talk about it. Hang out with us. This is another episode of the Santa Boot First podcast.
Do what I got.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Santa Boot First podcast, coming to you live from beautiful downtown Willow Grove, the lovely Crack Belt Production Studios on this beautiful Thursday evening, fall-like. It's getting a little chilly out there.
It is.
End of the summer.
Especially
End of the
tonight,
summer.
it was a little windy.
A little cooler out there as we toss the old pigskin around.
Football weather.
This is
Yes.
your MC for the evening. Jim Marcus to my left. The elder statesman, Donald Kennedy Martin, DK. I thought about this. We're missing a very good sponsorship opportunity. DraftKings, DK.
Oh, I thought you were going Metcalf.
Metcalf is missing it too, but he can't do it, I guess, right? Because he's part of the league.
Maybe
They
we
don't
could get
allow him to
DK
do
to
that.
sponsor us.
Sponsored by DK Metcalf.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That might work.
He certainly has the money.
That
Yeah.
might work. To the elder statesman's left, we have the AP, the president of the Hurts fan club, Mr. Ryan Smitty. Smitty, what's going on?
Good evening. Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Fantastic. Just peachy.
So am I.
To his left, we have the Don, Dojo, Sensei, DJ.
What up?
What up?
Good
What up?
evening.
Good evening.
That's right.
To his left,
Got the TikTok.
we got Captain Baker. I mean, the youngest Martin. What's going on, Andrew?
So
Sup? And behind the glass, we got Nate Money Moss keeping us live and on the air. What's going on, Nate?
you.
All right, folks. Before we get started,
Yeah, let's
You
get
know,
our sponsors.
last week
That's
we
the
did the
standard.
first
Yeah.
half hour yelling at each other and screaming at each other. I don't know if we'll get there tonight, but I have a feeling it's going to get loud. But our sponsors, thanks to Mamma Mia's Pizzeria tonight, we had a meat lover stromboli, which was fantastic. Plain pie, square pie, some barbecue wings. Always good stuff from Mamma Mia's. Sundays, give them a call. You get the Santa Sunday special. Large plain pie, steak stromboli, wings, and a 2-liter drink, all for only $40. Get there. Mamma Mia's Pizzeria on Sundays during football season. And keeping us hydrated and keeping us lively, Pops McCann's Fine Whiskeys. Give our buddy Jason Fogg a call. Reach out to him on socials. Get some whiskey. Fall is coming. Perfect whiskey weather. For us in this room, whiskey weather doesn't really exist. It's
No.
all year round.
Yeah.
But, it's great. It's great for the fall. A little bourbon, some bourbon mules, Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And, well, let's get into it. The Philly Standard box is here on the table, but let's get into it first. So I'm here to declare that I am all in. I'm all in. Smitty's the president. He's the engineer of this train. Smitty, I'm going to be the conductor. I'm collecting the tickets. Get your tickets tonight, folks, because if you don't, they're going to get expensive. I'm all in on the Hurts train. It's happening. Look, it was a statement game. Great game. He made mistakes. They're all going to make mistakes. What I saw from him Monday night down there, the kid is progressing, right? He threw the ball over the middle. Loved it. And he threw it in some tight spots. Did he miss some throws? Yes. Did he hold the ball a little bit here and there? Yes. The throw to Quez had to slow down. The ball he threw to AJ that was overthrown, it was still perfectly placed, though, because it was going to be to the outside shoulder on the sideline row. Only AJ would have been able to get it. It was overthrown, but again, you're going to make mistakes. 330-plus yards, touchdown, rushing. I'm still a little, after seeing what happened with Trey Lance, I don't want to take that out of his game, but at the same time, if you're going to be our franchise quarterback, I'm good with you running the ball 8 to 10 times a game. I don't really want you going over that much more. We've got running backs to do that. And that second touchdown that he ran in, I mean, he was pushing there. And that's the type of play where you're trying to get that extra yard. You're trying to get that extra yard. Guys are jumping on you and something happens there.
Right.
I don't like to see that. But that said, I'm all in. From here on out, I'm all in. Doesn't mean I won't critique or criticize, but I'm all in. I've made my statement. The floor is yours, Smitty.
No, I mean, I want to give everybody else. I want to hear.
You want?
I want to hear what D has to say. For real.
Are you buying a ticket? Are you on?
Yes, I'm on because for a couple reasons. I'm seeing the progress that I wanted to see from him. He's definitely making throws. He had to those 2 throws downfield. Yeah, Watkins had to slow up his step. And the thing that was amazing about that play, the replay they showed, I don't know if you noticed, down the stadium on that touchdown to Watkins, even though he had to slow up, on that big-ass 96-foot screen, there was not a defender in the screen when they showed the replay.
That's Quez, right?
I was like, wow, that's really impressive. I still, even if there was a defender there, I think they still would have completed the pass. And what I was more impressed with, yeah, that ball was on the money where it should have been, like you said. But the fact that he overthrew somebody downfield, I was more impressed by that. I was like, okay, he doesn't have so much of a noodle arm as maybe everybody's thinking he has, because you overthrew, and it wasn't an overthrow 15 yards downfield. It was an overthrow like 45 plus yards downfield. So I was actually glad to see that happen. I also want to see him 8 to 10 games or 8 to 10 runs a game. I want to see him progress as a pocket passer. I think we've seen that, especially this week. Last week it was too many runs. This week was much more to my liking. I would like to see more runs designed for the running backs, less RPOs. I think we've seen that this week. So I'm liking what I see. The second half was left a little bit to be desired. Neither team scored. When you have a team down like they did at halftime, you need to come out your first possession. If it's on defense, you need to stop them. Minnesota marched the ball downfield. Luckily, we got the interception. The Eagles never scored again. That was a little concerning to me. I would have liked to see more points in the second half, points period in the second half. Just when you have a team down like that, you got to put your foot on their throat and just snuff them out. And just, you're done. You have no chance of coming back in this game. If they score 10 points in that second half, Minnesota packs it in. There's no chance for them coming back. And I think Sipas may have made the play of the game in that tackle, because that was a 10-point turnaround. We should have scored 3. We didn't. They should have scored 7. They didn't. That was a 10-point turnaround by them, or by him making that tackle. And that was pretty impressive that he did that. So that's basically my take on the game. Gannon, I thought, had a really good call, play call during the game. We got to see more out of the defense that we have. They played a really impressive game against a high-powered offense. I know Cousins doesn't have a great record on Monday night prime time, but the defense showed up to play, and they really, really had a great game. I just wish the offense would have scored in the second half. That was basically my one beef with the game, with them not scoring.
All right. Well,
going to you next.
I guess I'll go. And after that 10-minute lecture, he kind of covered all the points there.
Don't forget about Andrew. He's really into the show tonight.
Yeah, but Hurts showed out, and the defense came to play, which was finally great to see. Both of those come together at once, because that's something that this team really needed. And look, Hurts, he put it together really nicely these last 2 games. Now I want to see it consistently throughout the season. I don't want to see him come out and lay an egg or something, for another game or 2. So I think he's a lot better than he was last year. I think he's come a long way in terms of throwing the ball. There were some tight windows that he made throws in on Monday night, which I don't know if he makes last year.
Yeah.
But he was just so fun to watch. And that defense, the amount of timely blitzes Gannon called up, I should say, they really came to play. And Darius Slay proved he's a top 5 corner in this league. He's been underrated for a while now, and now he's finally showing off that, he needs to be talked about with the Jalen Ramseys of the league. This guy he's top 5 in my opinion.
Got NFC Defensive Player of the Week. We set him the MVP.
Are you all in?
I'm not all in on Hurts. I'll be honest. I'm not.
Okay,
I want to see it consistently. He showed me for 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know, I mean, the Lions and Vikings the Lions seem to be like a good team this year. I mean, there's some people that think, oh, they're the Lions. I think they're a decent team. I think they could be a surprise team this year. And the Vikings, they're probably a top 5 team in the NFC, which isn't saying much because the NFC is so bad this year. But they're a good team in the NFC, and the Eagles just whooped them on Monday night and sent a message to the whole league like, hey, you know, we're as good as we think we are. So
put them on notice. Like I said.
you better come ready to play against us, which I love. You know, I want that. So
all right, well,
let's bring it on.
Again, from here on out, it's going to get expensive to get on this train.
All right. Well,
there may be consequences.
How many?
What's
the cutoff? I'll say. Today
you get in today, and you're in the beginning.
I'll say this for me: if they go into Washington, and I don't want to get into our predictions just yet, but I think they should be able to win in Washington and handily like they did Monday night. If he can go into Washington and do what he did Monday night, or even be better, I'll be all in. Like I think here's
the analogy I'll use.
All right.
Tickets are priced.
It's
like standing room only right now.
Smitcoin. It's Smitcoin. You started it last year, and you were all in. It went from a nickel to 60 grand. You're getting in right now at about
a few grand.
No, I'm going to say right now it's like $100. $100.
Okay, that's not too bad.
As the weeks, but don't be that guy that gets in when it's 60 grand.
Look, if it's
I'm getting in at 50 because he lost last week. I'll get in for 50 and then it goes nowhere, right? Like get in.
I hear you, but I think one more week to see if it's for real.
All right.
See if it's for real. I think three games in a row. I think that's pretty telling. So I'm gonna give it one more. Okay. And Washington's defense, it's not what it used to be in the past years, because the past years they've been a really good defense actually.
And they lost Chase Young.
And they lost Chase Young, who's hurt, but I still think they're a credible defense. So I we'll see. They're okay.
I don't want to say they just gave up a bunch of points to the Lions, but because I'm with you. I think the Lions are a better team this year than people, regardless of Dan Campbell being their coach. I think they'll be a better team than people were expecting. All right, maybe the biggest
1-0 Phillies.
Maybe the biggest critic in the room.
Hey, listen.
What do you got, Andrew? You getting in?
Us, Andrew, talk to us.
You buying a ticket?
You in or you out?
Let's hear it, Baker.
I got a handful of them.
Are you?
Sort of in. I will say he has proved me wrong. And there's nothing to say since you guys hit everything on the head. Everything's been said.
Do you think he's how much?
That's actually the most he's said in like months.
Yeah, I'm actually.
That's pretty good.
And he owned up to his.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it takes a big man to admit they're wrong.
Correct.
I've been there, done there, been there and done that. Won't be the first or the last.
Sure.
But what would make him Baker level in your eyes?
Baker level.
His eyes.
I don't know.
Got to be a little more cocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not.
He's cocky as hell.
The thing that hurts. That's actually a good point because he's confident in himself, but he's not cocky. If that makes any sense, though, like
I agree with you.
You can definitely be cocky without. Being,
be confident without Baker's cocky and he shows it.
Yeah, like Jalen makes a big play, he turns to his teammate,
looks
at them where Baker's looking at the other sideline and
like grabbing his crotch, Jalen's just. And Jalen backs it up better. Baker hasn't done shit since college. And he made one playoff run. The team was good around him. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
One trick pony.
I mean, it did
one trick pony?
Baker, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
His show style is all he's good for.
I don't know if he's a one trick pony, but
what's he done?
Maybe zero.
I don't want
to
get into the Baker talk, but I like Baker coming out of college because I thought he was cool. Like I like the cocky style. Like I'm a young kid. He kind of represented like the chip on the shoulder type. So
yeah, I'm still somewhat of a Baker fan.
That's because you bought into the Panthers to make the playoffs?
Well, I mean they were a dark horse.
Yeah,
right.
They had good value.
He had good value from a betting perspective. So it made sense. But if Andrew's not going to say anything, I think with this Hurts
you're
thing,
good, Nate.
Yeah, I know. I think he's done. I don't think he wants to talk about it. Yeah, he said his piece about it.
He's got more to say about the Phillies later, I'm sure.
I think what Hurts is he's proving everybody who said anything bad about him wrong, right now, and everybody was on that train before can kind of put their fingers up like it hurts, doesn't it, right? So I think that I think that he's showing a lot of growth, obviously. And it's funny because I was a big Hurts hater. And then when everybody jumped off last year, Jim, remember, I was the one like, he's showing me something because he's working. And I think the work is starting to pay off. Like, that's what we're seeing from this kid right now. And not even that, the coaching. Like, what's more outside of just the Hurts noise, is that I'm becoming an even bigger fan of Sirianni. And I never thought I would. You know what I mean? Like, he understands the city. He understands the pulse of the city. He's super corny.
Yeah.
Super corny. But it just
tell me about it. Yeah.
But it works though. You know what I mean?
If that's what the team buys into, I
yeah,
agree.
if they're buying into it,
into his culture.
It's culture.
They want to play to him and they'll go to war for him.
No, that's right.
That's
their culture. And then I like his demeanor on the sideline now. You know what I mean? Like that kind of weird, kind of squinty face and squinty eyes, and he gets mad. Like it just works. It just all works. And I think that I think we're seeing the birth of what what we always wanted this team to be. So I'm happy. Like, you know what I mean? I hear people, like, oh, he's not this good and all this other stuff. Like, why don't be a hater? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Don't be a hater, especially if you're an Eagles fan. Oh, I'm a conscious Eagles fan. I thought I don't want to get too. I mean, shut up. They look good, right?
They look good.
There's nothing wrong with being excited about this team right now at all. Don't kill the party, right? Don't be the person kill the party like, oh, you guys got to be quiet. No. Let us live right now.
Enjoy it.
Let's enjoy it. It's only 2 games, but let's enjoy the wins that we're getting, right? The first win, I actually thought they played better a little bit the first win. I thought last week on Monday night, I think Minnesota got out coached. I really did. I think they got out coached and they were guessing the whole game. And that's why they looked so good. I mean, you saw on that Quez that you guys were talking about, that Quez bomb, Smith bit on the out, right? He bit on the out from Brown, and Quez was open. And it was a great read by Jalen too. Great ball, great read. I think everything clicked in that game. Washington's going to be a good test because it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a real tough game in Washington, I think. The NFC division games are always tough. Always tough. I can't remember the last time we blew Washington out.
A Monday night game with
there was
5 touchdowns.
Blew him out the week with Carson Breaker's first game.
No,
yeah,
we
but how long
lost.
ago was that?
We lost that game. That was the train wreck season. Yeah,
the last one was Vic, right?
I think
Vic
it might.
had
But I feel like
touchdowns.
we.
Oh no, we blew him out the
Monday night
Super
game.
Bowl
Yeah,
game where Aguilar had the big catch. That's right. We blew him out that
The
game.
Monday night game with Matt
Chip.
Collins.
Chip was
No.
But I mean, but look at
Super
but look
Bowl
at you guys talking like
Yeah.
Aguilar's had like 3 contracts
No,
already.
yeah. That's
You know what I'm saying?
It's
You're
been a
saying the Super
while.
Bowl year,
It's
that
been
was
a
20.
while. Yeah, it's 5,
Like,
6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've blown them out. So
5 years.
it just tells you,
Not a
doesn't
match
matter who's
major.
at quarterback, or they just play us tough. They just play us tough.
It's
So,
divisional game,
Yeah.
It's tough games.
Like we're all saying. I know you want to say your piece.
No,
after
I'm
we're
good.
His
I'm good.
knee- his
knee
has been
chopping at the bit.
I think everybody in this room and outside the room at some point last year was saying
Doubted
we had the Hertzometer at one point.
Yeah,
there were weeks,
Yes, yes.
there were
yes,
weeks
yes.
where we were like, now
That's
we're
right,
off, and
that's right.
Smitty didn't falter. It was tough to get criticism out of him, but you gave it
Yeah,
when
for
we
sure.
pushed. Some of us thought maybe Flacco would be starting by the end of the season last year.
We got to roll back the tape.
I forgot about that receipt.
Look, again, we all at one
Hey,
point,
he just threw for 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's
He
the
did.
third
He
leading
did.
passing leader in the league right now. I
the
think.
Jets look good with
Yeah,
Jalen
look at Joe,
He's back
smoking
to
Joe.
He's back to elite.
But look, he's doing the things I think we asked to see, right? I think we all would agree that he's a hard worker. He's a great guy. It seems like he's good in the locker room. He's getting in there watching the film. He's trying to bring guys along with him. It was just on the field, you could still see
He's missing.
he was
something.
hesitant to throw the ball in certain spots. He didn't, and whether it was now he has a year with these receivers and he's got a new guy that he has a lot of confidence in, so he doesn't have to completely trust himself, right? He's going to make that throw
He
and
has
say,
people around him.
this guy's going to catch this ball.
Did
when
you
I
know
get
he
there.
was at the draft party for Brown? I didn't even know that. Did you see that?
Really?
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
were best friends in high school.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know how deep the
They were
relationship
best friends
was.
since they went
Growing
on
up, right?
Alabama
Yeah.
And
recruiting
you
trip.
talk about guys trusting his guys. Look at the throw he made to Goddard. What was there, 3 guys around him? And Goddard had it. The defender just made a great play.
I couldn't believe he threw that pass.
It was a
great pass.
Yeah, he was the only one that could get it.
And the defender just made a good play on the ball. But you bring up a good point, Jim, trusting the guys around you. I think I speak for a lot of the fans here. When Wentz was here, when he would throw the ball, because he was such a turnover machine late in his career here, you kind of held your breath. You're like, oh, no, like, where's it going? With Hurts, I don't really find myself doing that too much because, I mean, knock on wood, the guy is very conscientious on the field with making passes or taking off and running. I mean, the guy just knows where to go with the ball. And I think that's really nice to have since we haven't had that in a while.
Interesting stat. He's only got 1 touchdown pass. I swore he had more.
Yeah, only the one to Quez.
Yeah, he's just got the one, which was surprising.
Well, they had the one called back. Was it called back to Goddard or no? Am I thinking something else?
I think that
was that preseason. That might have been
preseason.
preseason.
You got Don waiting in the back there, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to say they needed to score more points in the second half.
Yeah, you can't get shut out.
That was a little concerning, and I don't know that the defense played all that great.
They have no pass rush.
That's what I'm saying.
They have no pass rush.
If you want to nitpick, that's the biggest thing to get at.
The position that we were all worried about, the secondary, is the position that saved us.
Correct.
Yeah, they're
right. They showed up.
Yeah.
They looked great.
And all the hype for Davis, I said it before. I'll say it again. He's a one-trick pony. He can only go straight. He's
been really good against the run.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But people were like, he needs to start. Like, you got to put him in.
I was reading stuff from when he was getting drafted from Georgia people, and almost all of them said if he can get his pass rush down, he'll be a top interior D lineman in the league. But
because you can't coach 6'6", 240.
Right? Yeah.
He came off the field on third down. Like if you look at the percentage,
he's not there to pass rush.
He's not there. He's not there. It's people like, oh, he needs to be like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, as washed as Cox is.
He made plays. He's making plays.
He's a better pass rusher.
Yeah, he's making plays though. I don't know. I think he's proven to get another contract.
I want to get into this a bit more.
Not here. I'm just saying around the league. I think he's trying to put film out there that he can still play.
There was a big free agent move that's been, I don't want to call him a bust yet, but has not been producing.
Reddick?
But
because he drops back in coverage.
Yeah, he's always in coverage.
That's so stupid. I hate that. Drives me nuts.
That's not his fault.
I mean, Gannon, great job. Kudos to you for the timely blitz calls. But dude, Reddick is your best pass rusher. He should not be dropping back into coverage.
You got to do something. Put him where he where he earned that money. Put him at that position to let him do what.
I was driving home after the game from my buddy's house, and I was listening on the radio, and they interviewed Howard Eskin interviewed Reddick after the game, and Eskin was flat out about it. He's like, "How do you feel about dropping back into coverage? Instead of pass rushing?" And Reddick kind of was like, just saying the thing you want to hear from a player, but. I mean, he kind of said it without saying, like, I don't really like it. Yeah, like I want to be rushing after the quarterback, but
that's how he gets his money.
Exactly.
I was just going to say that's how he's getting paid.
We got to get to him. Come on. You ready?
Play that shit.
I mean, is that an intro shot? Bring Don on.
I was going to say that seems like the perfect.
No,
that seems like the perfect.
To get his.
That seems like the perfect drunk award right
get
there.
His thing on.
Our guest is waiting. You want to make your comments and then
real quick.
I just brought him on, so you guys.
All right. Well,
so I
let's do a quick intro because you guys have actually met before.
Yeah.
You and Don, Deke and Don. Don, what's going on? How are you?
What's going on, fellas? This is I love listening to the conversation. It sounds a lot like the conversation we had last night. It's a little bit different being backstage, listening to you all, but I mean, I think you're spot on. I love the take where, especially with Reddick, right? If I don't ever have to see Hassan Reddick drop back in coverage and look like he's on ice skates, I'll be a happy man.
Nice.
I mean, let him rush the passer. That's
Exactly.
Let me give you a proper introduction from Drunk on Broad podcast, where we all hope to be drunk on Broad at the end of this season.
Yeah, right.
right. That's the goal.
That's the goal. Don from Drunk on Broad. You actually had a chance to talk with our guys, Deke and Smitty, at one point with another podcast that we were on. But I'm Jim, Deke to my left, Smitty in the middle, DJ, Andrew. We got Nate behind the glass. So thanks for coming on.
Truly appreciate the opportunity, fellas. I really like. I'm glad anytime I get a chance to come in and talk birds, man. I'm all over it. So
great. We got Smitty is the president of the Hurts fan club. He has been since the end of last year, since
Okay.
the beginning of last year. So
Smitty, you gotta be feeling good. If you're the president of that club, you gotta be feeling good right now.
So first off, I'm not gonna sit here and say
you're not gonna pat yourself on the back.
Told you so. What I am gonna say is that you two are fully initiated into the Hurts fan club.
Oh, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, Smith.
Congrats,
DJ,
guys.
DJ right now is DJ on the waiting list. On the waiting list. One thing I'll say that I've always said from day one about Jalen Hurts, and I've said about, and we've all touched on it. We've all touched on it. The fact that the urge to get better, the intentional way to put into the work to become better. But the biggest thing that I think has made Jalen Hurts better, and why I said last year is that we really truly couldn't judge him, is because now you see what happens when you have more talent around you. Bringing in the number one wide receiver like A.J. Brown, right, makes a world of a difference. It makes a world of a difference on the field. The other thing, too, that we're forgetting, and this was the total opposite, and I'm not even here to talk about Carson Wentz, but Hurts knew last year after that playoff game, he didn't play up to his standard, right? That's right. He did. And what did he do? He went out and hired one of the best quarterback coaches that worked with Tom Brady, and all offseason got better. And I said that to you guys when I said it last year. I said, you have to give this guy a chance, because what you're seeing is progressions. You're seeing him now seeing the field better than he's ever seen it. You're also seeing him not take the time. He gets the ball out quicker. And that tells me that he's putting in the work. He wants to get better. The questions about accuracy, I feel like, can go down the drain now when you're 26 for 31, right? You made some good throws. The noodle arm nonsense can go down the drain because we could see that he can throw the ball. The one thing people just need to realize is that this kid's always going to constantly get better. And that's what you want in the leader, and that's what you want in the quarterback of your franchise. That one thing that I love about Jalen Hurts, and I know, DJ, we talked about it. If you notice after every game, it's never enough for him.
Yeah.
And you want somebody like that.
Standard
we left money on the
standard
table.
Is the standard,
fellas. We left money on the
table.
table, right? Like he's always going to get better, and that's scary. And I think that's scary for the rest of the league, because the connection that he has with A.J. Brown, and I understand they were best friends, what he has already with him through 2 games, imagine what that's going to look like as their connection grows. And then the other thing that you need to realize is how much attention Jalen Hurts takes away. There was one where Miles Sanders, he got a 6-yard run, and he handed it off to Miles Sanders, and 6 players were running towards Jalen Hurts. That's what people need to realize. And the other thing is the fact that finally, and Deke, you hit on it perfectly, they let him be a true quarterback on Monday night. Everybody's like, oh, he can only run the RPO. You saw what he can do. He threw the ball for 331 yards. So the questions, 333.
You're selling him short.
Give him those 2 yards.
Questions about his arm, I feel like, are done. He proved that he can win the game when he needs to with his legs, but he also proved that he can win it with his arms. And I don't give a shit about how many touchdowns he has through the air or how many he has running. At the end of the day, a touchdown's a touchdown.
Just
score.
I like the dig that you took there at me, but it's okay.
No, it's not a dig.
No, it's for sure a dig.
It's not a dig, because you're not the only person that said that. The thing is, I don't understand why everybody's obsession is, and it's not just you. I see it all the time on Twitter. What's the difference? Like Kelsey said, if you listen to his podcast, the perfect play when you're in the goal line is a QB sneak. It works like 96.2% of the time.
Yeah, because they're running behind Jason Kelsey.
So
it's going to work.
Why does it matter if you score the ball through the air? Or
because he's a quarterback. That's why.
But why does it matter? At the end of the day, you get more points for throwing the ball than passing the ball?
No, he's a quarterback.
It's a quarterback.
He's a quarterback. He's not a running back, Smitty. So I want you to just calm your ass down.
Well,
he is a quarterback.
I was being nice to you about you thinking it.
Being nice to me about what?
Hold on. You recall that you called him trash last year.
I call a lot of people trash.
Yeah, right. And now you're saying you're on the Hurts fan club.
I never said that. I'm a fan because I'm an Eagles fan. right?
Yeah,
but
it's
you're
hard to
you're
call
talking
somebody a
like
trash
this is the
and then
problem
they'll
with
take
the
bits
Jalen
and
Hurts
pieces.
guys is that it's been 2 games.
It's
Like,
not been 2 games.
What do you mean it hasn't been 2 games?
What do you? Okay, so you want to say it's been 2 games? Fine. Why do you think?
Sorry,
they made
Don,
the,
we'll get to you.
why-
No, listen. This is fantastic conversation.
Last year. Why do you think they made the
Are they
playoffs
playing
last
like they
year
played last year in the
without wide
playoffs?
receiver
Are they
talent
playing like they
around it?
played in the playoffs last year?
I'm asking you a question. Last year, were they
You
expected
get the
to make
fan
the
on,
playoffs?
Jim. It gets a little hot. Yeah.
Were they expected to make the playoffs? Yes or no? Answer the
Of course,
question.
no, of course
Right.
not.
Did he have any wide receiver talent around him last year? Yes or no? If you want to say Devontae Smith, that was a rookie wide receiver. Why did they make the playoffs last year?
They ran the ball.
They ran the ball.
With-
What are you
and-
trying to prove? What's your point?
You're saying that Hurts has only done it for 2 games. Hurts has done it a lot longer because he took them to the playoffs.
Playing like this, he's only done it for 2 games, Smitty. Facts.
At this
That's-
level.
At this level,
I would
being
say
able to
at this top
being
performance
able to
level,
throw to
it's-
his left side. Yes,
You
it's only been.
you recall the Washington game?
You're talking about 1
Do you
out of
rec- no, no, do
17.
you recall the Washington game last year?
1
We
out of
gave him a
17.
lot.
Yes, I recall the
Okay.
game. 1 out of 17. So let's get it. Let's not get it twisted, Smitty.
At the end of the day, I could give 2 shits if they get in the end zone running the ball. I could care less if Hurts threw 40 touchdowns through the air or 40 touchdowns running it. At the end of the day, we're still scoring points. So I don't give a shit about that.
Well-
That makes no difference to me, and I think it should make no difference to anybody.
What quarterback?
What matters at the end is that
Okay,
they're winning.
okay. So taking with your point, Smitty, what quarterback runs and wins Super Bowls? Oh, that's crickets. Thank you. Okay, so you know what I mean. So
Oh, wait,
so
but
so
no,
let's
wait,
let's
you
so
guys
let's
all
look.
praise
He's got to
Lamar
win.
Jackson.
He's got to win the
Lamar
game.
Jackson,
from
who
his arm.
everybody wants to get rid of Hurts after this year and go to Lamar Jackson.
But we're not. I didn't say anything about Lamar.
That was-
You're giving your-
I said that. He
that
was
was
You're
brought up in our group
you're
chat.
throwing Lamar in there. All I'm saying is I can stand corrected because I did say he was trash, and I always question his arm. But the beginning
You
of this
can't question
year,
his arm anymore.
but the
No,
beginning of
so-
this year, I said they didn't have any holes on this team. I said they had question marks, and the biggest question marks was Jalen Hurts. Why? Because I questioned his arm talent.
You know what the biggest
That's
question mark was? A bona fide #1 wide receiver last year. You had Jalen Reagor and you had Devontae
Facts.
Smith, who was a rookie. That was the biggest question mark last year. And if you put a bona fide stud, #1 wide receiver who opens the field, you're seeing what Jalen Hurts
You
can do.
cannot compare
Did I
Jalen
not
Hurts
say that
last year
last
to this
year?
year. You just can't
Why?
because he's not the same player.
Yeah, he's
All right,
better.
Right, he's better.
Let's all take a deep breath.
That's I
We
under,
got a-
that's
we
what I'm
got a
saying.
guest- We got a guest on here for a reason.
Hi, Don.
Yo, what's going on?
I'm going to ask Don.
Because Don,
You came in the middle of a shitstorm here.
Listen,
We started the show off, and we said that, like I introduced Smitty, he's the president. I also said he's the engineer of the Hertz trade. I'm the conductor. I'm selling the tickets. If you're
Okay.
getting on the train, you need to buy them today because the price is going up after
Well,
today. So where
listen,
are you, Don?
I'm running the bar cart, right?
Okay.
we got the drunk. The drunk. Is it not more appropriate that the drunk on
That's
broad
true.
team would
That's
run the
true.
bar car,
no, that's
right? So
Complete sense.
here's what I like about Hurts, right? From last season to this season, he got better. From week 1 to week 2, he got better. As long as I see that continued progression, I'm good. And I'm on the train where, like, I look at the fact that you get points regardless.
right.
6 points is 6 points is 6 points. If he can extend the drive with a 6-yard run to get a first down and then throw a 35-yard bomb the next play, I'm good. He extended the drive. I look at plays that I saw in week 1 where he would make one read and then run, where in week 2, I saw him make that one read, but then slide in the pocket, move towards the sideline and hit guys down the field. That to me is progress, right? That to me says I'm making my progressions. I want to see, I understand what they're doing with the RPO, but to me, I want this season to be everything about finding out what Jalen Hurts is. And if he can continue on the trajectory that he's on right now, the sky's the limit for this team, right? Yeah. If you look around the NFL, right, especially in the NFC, right, Tom Brady looks all of 45 years old.
Yep.
Right. The only team that truly scares me is the Rams, and they have enough weapons and they have the talent to be able to take over a game. But I look in Green Bay, right? Green Bay with they have Rodgers, but they have Rodgers and nothing else.
Yep.
Right. Like you just took care of what was supposed to be the other team in the Central in Minnesota. Like, tell me where I'm I'm looking around and going, when I look at the talent that's on this team and how it matches up with the opposing sideline, like I don't see who in the secondary in Washington is going to be able to cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins, Kenny Gainwell, Zach Pascal. Like, throw any combination of any of those dudes on the field.
Yeah.
If you cover a guy one-on-one, he is going to get beat. I don't care who it is, because any one of those guys is better than anybody that's lining up against them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to your point of last year, and we all criticized him last year, that you see him, he looks to the right, he looks to the right, he looks to the right, nothing's there, I'm running.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you see
Absolutely.
him, he's got his eyes on one. But now with all these weapons around him, he's
goes
checking
through the
down.
progressions.
He's going through the progression.
And he throws in the middle of the field now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't really
Well,
do
he's got
that too
AJ.
much. Well, yeah. But I mean,
Right,
last season
right.
he threw to the sidelines a lot. And you saw in that playoff game against the Bucks defense took everything away from the sidelines. They made him go down the middle of the
Right.
field and he just couldn't. So I mean, that's another progression that he's worked through and it's showing off now.
All right. So
I mean, anybody want to talk about that Quez Watkins play? Right? The progression. That
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he saw the safety slide down, and that's another thing to A.J. Brown. That's how important he is to this offense.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say Harrison Smith jumped the route.
Yeah,
And I'm not hating
But-
on the play because Wentz.
But that's
in the
also
pocket,
play. That's a
That's the
combo,
progression.
right? That's a combination of play design
That's the
to
progression.
to lure that guy up. But you can't just in my mind, I can't just say that play is on Harrison Smith, and that's the only reason why it was successful. Right? There's a lot.
He was going to burn Harrison Smith regardless.
No, he was going to burn because he was
Right,
gone.
yeah.
He was gone. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is that I'm just saying
But running
it
the guy
looked
across.
so open
Yeah.
because Harrison jumped the route.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I said Wentz. Hurts. Well, I'm thinking about the commander conversation coming. Hurts stayed in the pocket and went through the progression, like you guys
If he
said.
didn't see him jump that, he might not have gone that way. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. So that's 100% credit to Jalen Hurts and his progression. Absolutely.
Right, but and the one play and it's the one turnover that he has, right? I'm looking at that play going, what are we doing in that moment? Right? Because in that moment, all you got to do is bleed clock.
Yep.
You got the ball deep in your zone. Like that middle screen
It's a good
is
point.
not it's either open or it's nothing but trouble.
If Gameo catches that, he's got a lot of open.
Yeah, I thought it was open.
I think it was just a
Gameo missed the
defender.
pass. Right.
and bounced off him. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
And what? Yeah.
But
I-
it-
but
It
I
hit
know
him
what
well
you're
in the
saying.
hands. It hit him in the hands.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer if it hits you in the hands, you should catch
Yeah.
the ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah,
It hit you
absolutely.
in the hands. So he should have caught
I mean,
the ball.
yeah, that play was there though if it did work.
Yeah, because he had I think 1 or 2 lines.
He had at least the first
And
down.
like you said, to talk about the other side of the ball, I mean, the secondary has just been tremendous.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
legitimately.
The secondary's bailing out
Brad
the
Burger-
zero pass
Burger-
rush, which
like,
is usually the other way around.
Bradbury's, I think, third ranked corner. I'm not obviously Slay's better.
Yeah.
But right now, like he's shutting down.
He's
that.
a top
And-
10 corner.
And that's going to come into play this weekend because Washington does have
Yeah,
McLaurin
they-
and they have Dotson's been doing well.
Yeah. And
so-
Curtis Samuel.
Right. So Chauncey Gardner, as much as I know he takes chances, he makes some big plays. I think the secondary, who we thought the weakness is, and he don't give Epps a shout out. Like, dude, he's kind of
Epps,
Epps is
I
where he
didn't-
needs to be on
No,
the
no, no.
field.
That's a good point
Yeah.
because I didn't believe in
I
Epps
didn't
at
either.
all.
I'm not
I
gonna
was like,
say
we're
I
going
did.
into the season with Epps and Kayvon
Yeah, but we
Wallace.
also
Come
He
on.
made
didn't know
plays.
we were getting
He made
Right,
plays.
yeah.
He made plays.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
shit,
made
Epps has
plays.
stepped up.
And Kazir White.
I was
Come
gonna
on,
say,
I'm ready to pay him now.
And Epps hits like a Mack truck.
TJ
Some of his
Edwards had a
hits-
good game. The
Yeah.
Yeah,
linebackers.
TJ, yes. A guy that sits behind us down the stadium, he said later in the game, he says, they're spending a lot of money on that defensive front line, and they're just not getting the job done. through the first 2 games. And I was like, wow, that's a great point. That, you're
not.
spending a lot of money.
You're
They're
right.
not getting it done.
Well, I mean, they're spending money. Yeah, I mean, Sweat.
Yeah, but let me finish.
Yeah.
I thought the front 7 was going to be the before they picked up what's his name? No, Chauncey.
Chauncey.
Before they picked up Chauncey and to an extent Bradbury, I thought the front 7 was going to be the strength of the defense. And I'm kind of disappointed in at least in the front 4, if not the front 7. And it's the defensive backfield that's saving their bacon.
Yep, you're right.
Because they're making plays, they're getting picks, they're batting passes down, they're making tackles, they're covering, they're doing really well back there. And they're saving their front 7 bacon so far.
Which is something this team hasn't had in years.
No.
Think about how many years we went through with the secondary, like in purgatory with the secondary.
And our linebackers.
And now we finally have it.
And just think about how we're set up. You say pass rush, that's perfect because if we now are set up and we think Hurts is going to be the quarterback of the future, let's not forget we got 2 first-round picks.
And the Saints first-round pick. Saints look
and
like they're slowly imploding.
Right. So, I think that him working out helps the team tremendously.
I think that's what we all want. That's what we all want.
You know what I mean? Like you think about it now, like you can go into after the season, maybe you make a long run and you still have a high pick to draft that pass rusher you're saying. Because right now that is a weakness. Like Sweat gets to the quarterback sometimes, but they're not finishing. Reddick's getting to the quarterback.
They're not consistent enough.
They're getting hurries, but they're not getting.
I don't think they're getting hurries.
No, they're getting a little plays.
They make Cousins.
This week
was
because they blitzed though. They were blitzing.
This week was better with the pass rush.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
but when they needed a big play,
but they
the
still
one time
didn't.
they made that big sack.
They had 2 sacks.
It's not showing up in the numbers with sacks.
They said they lead.
But I think this week was a little better with pressure. So we'll see if it continues to grow.
I mean, like I told you guys early in this year, Sweat is not it. He's just not.
Yeah, I know that's Jim's
he's
boy.
got it.
But
I like Brody. Brody loves Sweat.
Yeah, I like Sweat.
He's not a 10. He's not. They need him to be a 10 sack guy, and he's not.
They need him or Reddick. One of them has to.
Reddick,
one of them
dropping back in coverage.
It's Reddick. You pay. It's Reddick that needs to be a 10 sack guy.
I love Brandon Graham, but he don't have a lot.
Somebody should tell Gannon, like, hey, dude, your best pass rusher shouldn't be dropping back in coverage.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that scares me about this team. But they're so good on the back end.
Yeah,
that like you guys said, they make up for it. But sooner or later,
it's going to catch up.
It's going to catch up, right? You're going to face a quarterback who's just that good.
And
there's not a lot of them on the schedule.
I was just going to say,
but I was like, not on this schedule though.
I mean,
your best quarterback you're playing.
Playoff time, they'll be there.
Yeah, your best quarterback you're facing is Rodgers, and that's not till Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, by that point he'll be so high that it won't matter.
Did you see the celebration this week?
I did.
That was awesome.
I mean, I want to give our guests some time.
Yes.
Right?
No, what do you got?
We go off here, but we have when we have guests in, we have standard questions we ask our guests.
Kind of standard.
It's the standard.
Yeah,
Come on,
there you go. Standard. You have to
read the box in front of you.
All right, Don. Before we get into the initiation questions, how do you feel about the standard and the dog mentality? Talk in the locker room and press conferences.
I mean, I understand the purpose of it,
but it's corny, right?
There are times where it comes across as very, very corny.
Disney movie-esque.
Like, I'm working on sponsors.
But
they're buying into it.
Do you like?
But at the same,
they're buying into it and winning. What do we care?
I totally agree.
But yeah, but I was gonna say, but
you come up with something better.
Do you have high standards?
Yeah,
but here's the thing, right? I look at the
just going for
like.
check.
Did you hear the press conference the other day with Sirianni where he's making fun of himself about the rock paper scissors?
Yeah.
Where he was like, what were you guys busting my balls about last year? The rock paper scissors. But like, listen, if it works in the locker room for the players,
all right,
I don't give a shit. Do whatever you got to do.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I just think it's like, come on.
As a fan, there are times where it does come across as corny. But listen, he has that locker room. He's got the quarterback in his corner. He's got the quarterback as the guy that everybody's looking up to.
Yeah, including the veterans.
And he's right, like everybody's looking at that dude and going, I want to play with that guy.
Right.
I want to play for that guy.
Right.
I'm picking that dude up. If that mentality comes from that experience and sharing it that way, whatever, I'm good.
Yeah. No,
Kelsey
I
looks
hear that.
tired out there to me.
DJ's gonna be wearing a standard T-shirt in 3 weeks.
Hey,
He'll
if
be
they
in
win,
there-
if they win a Super Bowl, I'll get standard tattooed on my ass or
I'm
something.
writing it down. I'm writing it down. It's going in the
Yeah,
book.
go ahead.
He's changing
Go ahead.
his middle name to the standard, the Don.
Yeah. Yeah.
I put it out there for the
That's fine.
Sixers.
It's on the
Oh,
the
you
tape.
made your
It's
name
on the
Furcon,
tape.
your middle name. Are you still doing that this year?
They needed to win.
If
This year you're
Furcon,
doing it
as
again?
long as Furcon is on the Sixers, that holds true.
Oh, God.
Oh, I didn't do it. It's not an evergreen bet. It was a one-season bet.
All right.
You're
All
thinking
right.
hard on for James Harden on your age.
Explain to Don
We're
the
talking
backstory to
talking-
that.
Did I? So backstory. I'm trying to get into our questions here.
Listen, all we got is time.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
So the backstory on that is I said if the Sixers won, I would change my middle name to Furcan. I love the Sixers, but I didn't believe it was going to happen last year.
Hey, listen, Ferk was in the middle of a brawl in Turkey. Like,
I know.
You know, and I didn't realize how young he is, but like, if it takes him until 26 and he gets the shit beat out of him in Turkey to turn into an asshole on the court and come in and just start banging threes,
So be it.
whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our questions here. All right, again, rapid fire. This is going to tell us where you fall within this group of clowns.
Think about these answers before you spit them out.
I say rapid fire, then you're telling them to
Yeah,
think
right.
about
Like-
it.
Because the first one's the most important one.
All right,
Actually, yeah.
No.
chicken wings. Are you a drums or a flats guy?
Drums.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was
That's
nice
my
talking to you,
night
Don.
count. 3 in a row.
Damn.
3 guests in a row. Thank you very much, Don.
All right. Do you guys have a spot?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Do you guys have a wing spot? I know you're all in Willow Grove. You got a wing spot?
My favorite wing spot in Philly is Burns Tavern down in Richmond. Best
Okay.
wings in the city.
I'm gonna go Kearns or Burns. They're pretty good.
There's a spot on Germantown. McMinimans.
Oh, all right. Now that's in my neighborhood.
So where are you?
Where you
Don,
at,
what's
Don?
your spot?
Okay, so I used to work. Have you guys been to Union Jacks? In
That's
Glasgow?
the same Roxborough,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
yeah,
Union
yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah, so there's one in Roxborough.
Yeah, they were good.
But I worked there for forever. They got a honey Caribbean sauce that'll hit you right in the feels.
Caribbean.
Oh, that sounds
U-
interesting.
That
Union
sounds
Jacks
really
or
good.
McMinimans, Don.
Let's do a live show from there.
Oh,
Throw it
Union
in
Jacks.
first.
Union
I got-
Jacks or
listen,
McMinimans is good, man.
McMenamins is good,
That
right?
five times fast. Yeah.
That's hard. That's a hard one.
That's tough, right?
That's a
close.
tough
When
one.
you're drunk.
Listen, if I got to pick between the two, I'm going both. Right? I'm gonna get 10 and I'm gonna get 10 and 10.
Yeah.
You're gonna mix them. All right. All right.
No, it's
Fair.
funny because when you talk to people who know about these places, it's like who's cooking. Like they know who the cooks
Ah,
are.
yeah.
They'll be like
That's-
they'll ask you like, well, who's cooking? And there's a specific cook who cooks the wings perfectly, and then that's how you get your answer.
See
But-
now at Burnsies, you have no choice in sauce. It's either you get the sauce or you don't. And the question is
Is it a buffalo sauce?
yeah,
It's hot.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
hot one.
hot, yeah.
So the owner Frank, the question is Frank in? If Frank's in, I think like Frank goes by the sauce and just like keeps dripping more hot sauce into the sauce. And so if Frank's in, the wings are going to be hotter. If Frank's not there, they're a little more mild.
Yeah.
But you only get one choice. It's
You know
either sauce
who
or no
else is good
sauce.
around us, Northeast Philly? Union Tap. They're pretty good. They
Hey,
actually
look,
have good food.
Our sponsor, Mama Mia's.
They're very good too
Very
as
good
well.
wings.
Yeah.
I was wondering when we were getting there.
Look, we
Sweet
get
chili,
not all of me.
we get their wings every week, and they hit the spot.
Yeah,
They are very
Absolutely.
good. No disrespect to Mama Mia's
that's
at
sweet.
all.
The sweet chili.
Yeah, the
and
sweet
the
chili
garlic
ones are
prawns really good.
Personal
Way
favorite.
to, put
right.
way to put down our sponsors on live radio.
Next question.
Here we go.
MJ or LeBron?
Oh God. Is that even a question?
It shouldn't be, but apparently
It
is.
shouldn't be. MJ.
Yeah.
It's Jordan all day long.
That's 3 in a row with that one.
How-
too.
Hold on, have we had anybody say flats?
Yeah, we
No,
got
I
flats.
just said 3 in a row.
Didn't Chef Tim?
drums.
Chef
Chef
Tim's a
Tim
flats
said
guy.
flats.
Yeah, but-
I actually started going
Oh,
back.
God. Here we go.
I'm gonna start tracking it. 'cause
Yeah,
I
I was
feel
about
like
to
we
say, I
need
don't
to.
remember a lot
Our
of flats.
last 3 guests
Nate, aren't
have
you a
all
flats?
been
Hell
drums.
no.
You're drunk.
All
Oh,
drums.
damn.
Listen, I will tell you when I worked at Union Jacks, when I was bartending, there were people that would only eat. They would ask for 10 flats, 10 drumsticks.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I must have been drunk then.
Where was I? So Heather and I went out to dinner where somebody. It was an upcharge. You can order only
Oh,
drum.
get the fuck out of here.
What?
Yeah, you can.
That's bullshit.
It was an upcharge.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
All right, next question. Scrapple, yes or no?
100%.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, there's you go.
All right,
He's,
that's-
he's from Philly.
That's
I
something
know.
we can all
Listen,
agree
like-
on. Yeah.
like-
Listen,
from Philly.
Bozos from
Listen.
Philly who don't like Scrapple.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, well, then they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I like scrapple on sandwiches. I don't eat scrapple regular.
I
No,
can
so-
understand that.
It's only got to be on a
I
sandwich.
can understand.
Scrapple, egg, and cheese.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
There
It
you
can only
go.
be on a sandwich. I don't eat an omelet with scrapple. It's got to be on the sandwich. And it's got to be
On the
crispy.
side,
Short
on the
stack of
sandwich,
pancakes.
doesn't matter.
Jim
Waffles,
eats Scrabble. Raw Scrabble.
Jim eats a piece of scrapple before he goes to bed every night.
I put it on my pillows when I roll over at night.
Midnight
so good.
snack.
So good.
There's something wrong with
Pillow-
you, bro.
Pillow
All
talk
right.
with Scrapple. Heather, get out of the way. You're in the way to Scrapple.
Greatest Eagle center, Chuck Bednarik or Jason Kelsey?
Kelsey.
That's an
Easy
easy one.
one.
There's only one
Yeah.
in the room who like
Yeah.
Nuts.
You don't
Listen,
know.
I never saw him play. I just go by what
I was gonna say I've never seen him play. I can tell you that I remember sitting in the back of my grandfather's Ford Taurus and him telling me about Chuck Bednarik and telling me about those guys. So I'm not saying it's only secondhand stories that I ever heard. I won't deny that he's an incredible player. But I'm just going to go recency bias. That's
I think
It's also the right.
and he's going to be he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So
I
I can't go wrong.
I want to check.
We don't need to see the stats. We've done this before.
All
need-
pro
How
at
many
center
done
for
it?
both
Wait,
of them.
how
Done
many
it
men
before.
Kelsey has?
Kelsey has more.
Dude, he wants to know how many people because Chuck
When you
Bednarik
think-
used to sit on people's faces.
When you think of Concrete Charlie, you should think of a linebacker.
Exactly.
Concrete
Yeah,
Charlie brings visions of a linebacker.
You should think of a two-way player for 60
Oh,
minutes.
Deke
Christ.
likes-
That was
Deke
Concrete
likes-
Charlie.
Deke
Don,
likes
if
both
you-
sides. He's a
if
switch
Deke
hitter.
goes- Deke likes
Don,
a two-way
He's a switch hitter.
If you don't mind us asking,
Jay
how old are
Victorino.
you?
42.
Okay, so he fits. All right, so
Hey,
obviously,
Don, I like
not
that
with
hat.
you.
man. That
no,
hat
no,
is
no.
nice.
But I mean, it's the
Yo,
younger.
Boscov's.
Boscov's hat with the classic. Is that stitched
For real?
on?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's real deal. That's stitched on. It's the 47 brand.
The 47. You can't go wrong with the 47
No,
brand.
Not a
oh,
47.
God,
They make the best hats.
Sorry,
All right.
I just wanted to shout out the hat.
Yeah,
I love the
100%.
classic color.
We have one more question, but then Deke usually throws in a second. But here's the final question.
Go for it.
Greatest Eagle of all time for you.
Dawkins.
Dawkins. All right.
There you go.
Good answer. Good answer.
Dawkins. Like just the guy that was just an animal that came in and demanded. Like when you see one of the greatest defensive coaches in NFL history, look at that guy and say, I'm going to design a defense around that guy. And then he was able to shine. Like the energy that he brought, the passion that he brought, you can't go wrong. It's a travesty that he walked away from his career in another uniform, won,
I agree.
and walked away without a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Agreed.
Yeah, you think about the greatest safeties when he played was Ed Reed. He got
And
two,
Troy Polamalu.
right?
We got two. Paul
Troy got two, right?
John Lynch.
John Lynch got one with
Yeah,
no,
one.
yeah, the
One or-
Bucks,
one
the
or
Bucks, the
the
Bucks.
Bucks.
and Denver.
No, he
Maybe
wasn't
he
on
didn't
that
have
team.
Denver?
No, he wasn't on
He
that team.
might have been.
If he
No, I
was, he
thought
was
was-
really
I
old.
thought he moved to San Fran.
I think he was in the front office by then, or working his way up. No, he was doing broadcasting.
Did Dawkins play in the Super? He played.
Yeah,
in
he
the
played in the against Patriots.
Come on, Nate.
Yeah,
I'm just making sure he
You
was
asked that question?
Just making sure.
Get out. Get
All
out.
right. You want to answer
Fire.
your question?
What?
Your question of the Palestra question. I've noticed you've been sneaking in.
Yeah,
well, that's
yeah.
more because of AB's
Well,
dumb remarks.
Also, I wanted to ask you to piggyback on your greatest Eagle. Who's your favorite Eagle? I'm guessing
Cunningham.
the same guy. Cunningham.
Oh,
Oh,
there you
wow.
go.
Cunningham.
Okay.
Yeah, he's. I mean, that was the quarterback when I became like Eagles fanboy, and it was appointment television to watch that dude.
Yeah,
and
ultimate weapon.
Yep.
You want to hear a funny one from me? What made me like the Eagles was Jim McMahon.
There you go.
Really?
I liked him.
Yeah.
Too. I loved him.
It was the visor.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
And
I thought
the
it was the
shades.
coolest thing I've ever seen. I had a sweatshirt that had a Eagles guy with a visor, and then I saw it on TV. I was like, "Holy shit, that is!"
There he is.
Yeah,
I was like, "Yo, that is cool."
All right. Since Jimmy brought it up, have you ever been to the Palestra?
Okay, let's pause for a second. My grandfather is the last 3-sport athlete at the University of Penn.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What
he
sport?
played soccer.
Crew.
No, I played soccer,
I just do
hoops,
that
and baseball. So
That's
do you
awesome.
remember walking around the Palestra?
What was the
Where-
second
where-
sport?
Baseball.
So soccer, basketball, and baseball.
Okay.
But you remember walking around the Palestra before they redid it, where they had the giant team photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle has it at his house. It's
Oh wow.
God, 19. God, when he was in college. God, I'm looking at his diploma right now. But he played 4 years at Penn.
That's pretty
and
cool.
So when I was a kid, we would take the train into 30th Street and then walk to the
Yep.
Palestra.
Yep.
It was I've been, God, I couldn't even tell you, a million games there. He used to take us all the time. Like middle of the week, call us up. Yeah, I'm picking them up at 6 and pick us up, and we would all go down, and we would just, it was great. I mean,
I think I know what his
The-
answer is
Yeah,
going
so
to be.
I don't need to ask you my question, but I will anyway. The cathedral or the Palestra, cathedral or dump?
oh God, that place is fucking church.
Yeah.
No, it's a cathedral.
Yeah, yeah.
Cathedral.
It's a cathedral. That
The basilica.
Yeah.
it is everything that you want
Mhm.
a nostalgic basketball venue to be.
I absolutely love the Palestra. I would go watch kindergarten kids play basketball at the Palestra.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Whoa.
You
Dude,
can't
we
say
don't
that.
need
Yes,
you.
I can.
It's
Need
not-
you.
It's the point. It's
Dude,
hyperbole
Do you
to
remember?
express a point.
You might
These
have to-
days,
Yo,
these
Ben,
days.
You might have to register to do
Yeah,
that.
You got to be
Yeah.
careful. You can't be an
Do you
old man
remember
talking
a
about you
man
watching
that used to
kids.
I'm not an old
I
man.
used to break
58 is not
Bill
old.
Conlon? You want to be Bill Conlon? Back it up, bro. Come on. I like to go to the Palestra and sit on the little kids' laps and watch basketball. I can't say that
So
these days.
when did your grandfather play there?
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go look at his diploma.
You're sitting on the little kid's laps, or they sitting on yours?
No, he said it.
You
What,
just
are you
said
Santa
you just
Claus?
said you were sitting on the little kid's laps.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, well, Deke
Last
said-
week you said you win to play the games.
Did he really?
Yeah. I was gonna do a segment of stupid shit
Like
that we said.
playbacks. We should do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I
Because
told
I'm sure there could be a whole
I
show.
made a
of that.
comment to you last week that just because you're wearing a collar doesn't make you logical.
Yeah, you were
Oh,
just
that's
nice.
right.
last week.
Yeah.
Definitely not. He had to step away to check out
Definitely
the
Definitely.
diploma.
I'm looking at the diploma from the University of Penn, 1959.
Nice.
So he played from 55 to 59.
Wait,
Okay.
so
So that's when Deke graduated high school.
My brother went to LaSalle. He graduated LaSalle in 71. And
Okay.
my dad used to take me down to a lot of games down there, late 60s through the mid 70s.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Very nice.
wait, when was Penn was good at football for a long time.
Oh
weren't
yeah,
they?
that was
They
the
used to
that
win
was
the
the,
Were they
Ivy League
that was the
every year.
80s.
Were they still good back in the 50s and all?
Penn was a national powerhouse before
Yeah.
the Ivy League was made.
Okay.
Really?
Yes,
Oh wow.
yes.
I remember Penn
Chuck
always winning
Bednaric's
the
time.
No, but I remember Penn always winning the Ivy League.
Yeah,
Every
they
year in
no.
football.
The Ivy League was created in 1955.
And their basketball.
Prior
team
to
was good.
55, Penn was considered a national powerhouse in football. And then when the Ivy League was started, that kind of fell off.
Their basketball
But-
team was decent at 1.2, right?
Yeah.
With Tom
Yeah,
Stephen
they're
and
okay.
Maloney and Jerome Allen.
Oh yeah, yeah. But in the 80s, this after hours club I used to go to.
Oh God, here
a
we
couple
go.
of the couple of the bouncers
This
were
isn't a
Penn
history
football
show
players.
here.
The girls were walking around with the tables and
Yeah,
buying
right.
cigarettes.
I had to tell all the women no because there was
Come here, honey.
They
Hey,
were
where
"Are
can I
you-
put my hat?
Hold on, they were like, "Are you Donald Kennedy Martin?"
And they used to bounce up there, and they used
They
to
played the talkies on the back.
You're right.
We used to play
And we
walkie-talkies.
used to talk to them about Penn football, and that's when they were winning year after year the Ivy League championship.
That's cool.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it.
no, that's. I mean,
Not,
the-
not you, Don, but everybody else in this room can kiss my ass.
All right, Don, I want to ask you a little bit about your podcast, the Drunk on Broad podcast. Like I said,
Sure.
some of our guys, you guys got to collab on another podcast. But
Yeah, it was cool.
tell us about Drunk on Broad, when you guys started, what nights you go on, where we can
Oh.
find the podcast.
So I mean, Drunk on Broad is something that kind of originated during COVID before me. The guy that I kind of co-host with, Rich, he and a buddy started it in their basement. It's gone through a couple of evolutions of, I got connected with them through a friend. They needed somebody to come on. We started collaborating on some stuff. We're about to hit episode 100. So, we're working on a couple of things. We've moved away from like the talk about every sport to like try to like whatever episode we're doing, try to do one sport just to try to keep it focused.
It's a challenge for us in here. That's a focus.
It-
It's a challenge for us.
It can be, right? It can be, but we found that like when we're trying to get feedback on scrolling through the feed, right? Seeing like if someone wants to just hear stuff about the Eagles, right, they go right to that stuff. If they want to hear stuff just about the Phillies, they go right to that stuff. So it's working for us now. That could change if we get on and we feel like we want to just go for just talk about whatever. It's just like this. It's exactly what you all are doing. So it's kind of why I identify with a lot of the conversations you're having, because we're kind of having a lot of similar conversations. We started working with Belly Up maybe about 7 months ago. So we're part of that network. So we kind of we'll get a little bit of support. We're credentialed to go for Flyers games. So
nice.
not that it makes a whole lot of sense right now, because getting credentialed to go down to see the worst team in the city, it's a punishment more than it is a privilege. But
don't think of it as them scraping the bottom of the barrel. Think of it as a nice thing to do.
No, it is, and truly, they've been really supportive in terms of helping us. We've got the merch store, we've got you name it, we've got it kind of set up in our link tree, whatever. We do highlight like we put out some highlights from games in the morning from the previous night. So we're just trying to keep it fun and just keep it live. We don't tend to get too statistical. It's just fun. And we actually just started something new. We just created a fan call-in line. So we're trying to get that up and running, trying to get some people to call in pre-game, post-game, during the game, and then we're playing them back on the next week's episode. So we're
is that for Flyers or is that for everything?
That's for everything. So
I'm calling in next
How
week.
about Penn State football and Notre Dame football? You take calls for that?
We don't like Notre Dame, dude.
I know.
Are you
Break their
are you a Penn Stater, Don?
I grew up with no college. I went to Newman College.
Okay. All right.
So I grew up with no affiliation. It's actually the one reason why I love college football, because I don't have a team. I turn it on. I turn it on at noon.
Me, I went.
Josie root for Penn State.
I went to Westchester, so I don't really have much of.
Yes, you do. You're a Penn State hater. Stop.
I mean, I don't necessarily hate or
They're
root
gonna
for
get
them, but
blown out by Auburn.
well,
Listen, I don't have a squad. I don't have a college affiliation. Actually, my dad is a diehard Villanova hoops guy.
Oh,
so
God.
like, if there's anything,
that's another question.
That's a problem.
That's a new
problem
question.
for some of us here.
Is it a Philly school?
Is it a Philly school? Come on.
Is it
Oh wow, you took some time there, Don.
I guess. Listen, I guess the pause. The pause tells me probably not. No, it's not within the city limits.
You can come on anytime.
It's a great
But
answer,
listen, and it's hard because they took a small school and made it a top-notch national program.
Absolutely, yeah.
But at the same time, it's hard as a diehard Philly fan. You kind of left the Big Five in the dust.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
You sound like you should have an episode.
Dude,
one of the guys that comes on here sometimes.
Yeah, didn't I say that to AB? And he's like, the history.
Yeah.
They tried to ruin the Big Five, right, Don?
I mean, he did. I mean, the Big Five is never going
Maybe
to be.
if you're listening and not home eating dinner.
It was
meatballs.
all Raleigh Massimino.
As long as Villanova is a top 10 program, unless Temple gets its shit together and gets back to any kind of notoriety.
Yeah.
I mean, LaSalle, Drexel, St. Joe's, those schools are never going to be top 10 programs.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say because Villanova's getting elite talent, right? They're
natural, like you said. They get guys from anywhere.
I wonder
Everywhere,
if the
all over the country.
new NIL stuff, if
That'll definitely affect it.
affects them.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
Villanova just had the money
Also,
to
it's
do it.
affecting-
coach.
And now the
Schools like
NBA,
Penn
the NBA is now
Yeah, they're
going
gonna-
to start implementing the new one, the high school. You can go right out of high school
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
So that's going to change it too. But
Yep.
yeah,
Well, I mean, between the NILs, between the G League elite team that you can go right out of college and make, like $500,000
yeah,
and play for a year. It's hard to say because there's no reason if you're a top end talent player in college basketball, there's no reason to go to college anymore. Before you had to, because you couldn't enter the draft before you had to be, the 1+ year out of high school. Now, when that rule gets implemented, you got the G League team. Like, there's no reason that any of those guys that are,
which is a
in
shame
that-
because people like me who love college basketball and March Madness.
See,
It's really not
This is
gonna-
why I like this guy. And he's a teacher, education. So
There you go.
I'm in with you.
It's a cult, just like something else that you guys are a part of, Mr. Penn State.
Don't be upset with
Don't be a hater.
Hey, you guys beat Auburn. Cool. Now you'll beat Nebraska.
Dude, you
You'll
guys,
be like,
wait, I was trying to be nice to you, but I didn't hear you once about Sparty
yeah, they stunk.
getting their ass
They stunk.
spanked by
Yeah,
a Pac-12 team.
they
So you
stunk.
should
They
just shut
stunk.
up.
They stunk. It happens,
No,
okay?
but you were running your mouth about Penn State first time and Clifford fumbled. Then you had nothing to say, kind of like AB on Monday night about Hurts.
Damn. I mean, yeah, Michigan State sucked. They did. There's not much you could say more than they shit the bed.
All right, we're going commando. What do we got?
Going commando.
Does that mean no topics?
Washington Commanders.
I know. I just
Oh,
don't like hearing
Yeah,
going
we're
commando.
running.
I was like,
we're,
wait, what?
We're running
I'm
out
not
of time.
going
Let's,
commando.
Yeah,
we got
and kickoff already happened. So
Did anybody overlook the fact that their nickname is it could be the Commies?
commies.
the
Yes.
commies, yes.
And it's in DC.
And that's perfect for
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Do you think there's gonna be? I think there'll be a lot of Eagles fans.
I think that's going to be
I
half.
don't know.
I think half it'll be Eagles.
I don't think Hurts is going to go by the railing when he goes back in.
I wouldn't.
No,
I
I wouldn't.
think they're going to have him come up this. I don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
But like, if I had to guess, right? Listen, we've all heard like the people that are going with the various programs, right?
Yeah.
The fans of Philly, the Philly sports trips,
Yeah.
the
The bus loads of
Oh, we
people.
should have asked him if he's a fan of the face painter.
Is that gonna be a new question too?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yes, I do.
no, I'm not.
Yes, dude. He's 6.
I'm out on the face paint.
One of us.
We've had
him.
One of
Yeah,
us.
Tell him to come in studio one time with us.
Don, we've
Listen.
had him. We had him in here.
We did have. And
One
he
of-
was
one
cool.
Of our,
He
one
was
of our
good.
guys.
He's a
One
tool.
of our guys had a beef with him and was
All
trying to get to him. He came in. He came in the studio. He was nice. I actually
He was a
Going-
good guest. He
going
was.
into the stadium on Monday night.
Oh yeah.
I hear this rah, 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 behind me,
Oh,
and Brody
geez.
goes, "Oh, he's behind us." And I turned around and Jamie's like 5 people behind me. So I turned. I said hi to him. He's like, "Oh," and he saw Brody. He's like, "Oh, the kid." So we have a connection with Jamie, I guess,
Yeah.
with the Philly sports guy.
I don't have a
Hey,
Hey, that's a hell of a good picture too, by the way.
Yeah,
That,
that we got in the
picture
studio
came
here.
out nice. That's a nice
Yeah.
picture you guys have there.
But
that we
we,
took with him.
but yeah, he's a bit of a
Doesn't mean he's not a tool.
subject matter here.
I guess he will not be returning on the show.
I guess not.
I just realized this though.
Prediction.
For years now, right? We've been doing this for 5 years, but I've been spending my Thursday nights with 2 Dons.
And now
Who would have thought? Now we got 3 Dons.
That's crazy,
I
right?
never would have thought I'd been in a virtual
The
room.
last
with 3
time there
Dons.
was 3 Dons in a room, it was probably a mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
We should
Don,
have. Yeah, we should have
Don, my real name is Don. It's,
And Don,
Deke is the
my real
nickname.
name is Don, and DJ is my nickname.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And oh god, well, I'm a junior. I got DJ for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm not a junior. I'm Donald Joseph, but
Oh
Yeah.
whoa, hold on. So am I. I'm Donald Joseph too.
whoa, what?
Dojo.
Wow.
Senseis.
Dojo,
Sensei.
2
There
dojo,
we go.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cobra Kai, real quick, 5th season.
All right.
I'm only like 4
No
episodes
one
in.
cares about
No
that.
one
Let's-
asked.
Let's get back,
spoil
let's
it.
get back to
Really
Washington.
hard.
Let's get back
Just
to
saying,
Washington.
just
I got two episodes left.
There's a football game this weekend.
Where's
Yeah, so we
Ryan
got-
now?
Wentz is who he is. He's putting up numbers on both sides. He's got
Empty
17
Empty
and
numbers,
three
yeah.
interceptions.
Yeah.
They're 1-1.
Where's Lance?
They got no running game. The only thing they can do is pass the ball, and
Can
that's
they
our
run?
strength right now, right?
Yeah, because
secondary seems to
that's
be our strength right
Washington seems to be going down early in games. Even though week 1 they had a little bit of a lead, and then Jacksonville came back. So, hey, if you can shut down the passing game and force them to run while getting to Wentz, I think the Eagles win this game easily.
And is anybody worried that it's a trap game?
A little bit.
No,
No,
I'm a
No.
little bit.
you're going to have, like we said, at least 50% of that stadium is going to be
green.
will be Eagles. They'll be fired. A lot of this team is still on this team from the Wentz era, so they're going to be fired up to play their old quarterback. Show them, why they got rid of him rightfully, and I think
As-
He's got
I think it's
something to prove.
I don't
too.
think it's not.
mean,
I don't think it's a
I'm
trap
not
game.
saying it happens, but he has something to prove.
He's
too.
been he's had something
He's
to
been
prove for
trying to
2
prove it.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna
agree.
say,
He'll be up. For the game,
That's
for
what I'm
sure.
saying.
He'll
I
be-
agree.
he will be, but as I said in the parking lot, if anybody else other than Carson Wentz was quarterback in this team, I would worry that it was a trap game.
Even if it's
This
Taylor
is not-
Heine.
Wentz
This is not a trap
Wentz
game.
Is he
is
better
a
than that?
broken man. He's not
The,
good.
the Eagles are going to be
Yeah,
fired
but
up
all
to
it
play
takes
against
is
them.
one game for somebody.
That's
to be
great.
Good.
It's not going to be this game.
I hope
He
not.
stinks.
All right.
Listen,
I will
I
be
think they get a
shocked.
lot of pressure. I think they end up getting a lot of pressure on them.
So
I agree.
what's the
I
predictions?
I hope I'm waiting for Wentz, Baker Mayfield style, to come out and say I'm going to kick their fucking asses. He's not going to do that.
Yeah.
No,
He's a child of God. He's
Yeah.
going to say,
quote a Bible verse.
I'm going to smite them like the
Luke
mighty.
chapter 17. The Eagles will soar.
Though I walk through the
But they
valley of
can't
the
make
shadow
it.
of
Yeah,
death.
he's going to come out with a Pulp Fiction quote.
yeah.
You read the Bible, Mr. Hurts?
Audience of one, the commando.
I will say, just because it is an NFC, and I think Nate, you might have said this too. It's a division game,
Yeah, they're always
right?
tough.
They're always tough. We are going down there, but it's going to feel like a home game.
Yeah.
I mean, we travel very
It's a
well,
trash stadium.
especially down there, and that's part of why I was like,
Yeah.
we really want to go down
It's
there.
a cheap trip.
Yeah, we're
If
not
you're going
But
to- if you're
I
going to a road
agree
game.
with so when I picked up our food from Mama Mia's tonight, I asked the folks in there like what their thoughts were, and old guy Mike he said 31-17. He feels like the front office has told them you need to destroy Wentz. So Howie's in the room, game planning. Like they say he's only there for the players, but they're telling him that you need to destroy Wentz. So I think at the end of the day, it's an easy win. Walking away. Maybe we even see Gardner Minshew.
Ooh,
Oh wow.
that's blowout.
that's-
Don't
That's
say
the
that, 'cause
whiskey
if
talking.
he gets hurt and guard and Mitchell, I'm coming for your ass next Thursday night.
All right, we'll go around
Yeah.
the room. Go ahead, Don.
No, I look at the matchup, right, and I look at a position where they excelled last week, right. Their defensive backfield could not be playing any better, right. And if they were able to shut down Jefferson, Thielen, and Cook, the way that they were able to do. Right, Thielen doesn't get a catch until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook's under 20 yards rushing for the entire game. I look at Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and I look at Darius Slade, James Bradbury, and the other guys that are in this defensive backfield, and I don't see it. I don't see where they're able to consistently and efficiently move the ball down the field. I think those guys lock those guys up on the outside, and I think this is the game where you might see some pressure from the defensive line. I think you're going to see a lot of aggression. I think you're going to see a lot of blitzing. I think we were talking last night, and we were talking about like plays, like what's the play that turns the game. And I don't necessarily think it's a play, but I think this team's due for like a 4+ sack game.
Yeah.
Don't
they
you
haven't-
think? Don't you
haven't
think
had one in a while.
guys like Fletcher and Brandon Graham are sitting there thinking, you know what? I couldn't touch this son of a bitch the whole time when he was here. Now I can tee off and drive him into the ground.
Well, it's a penalty now.
You're a big guy.
Take
you
the
fall.
penalty. Take the
Well,
penalty.
and coupled with the fact that like during that whole Super Bowl run, he's essentially talking shit about the guys like not being on the field, right? Some of those guys don't forget that shit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
And a lot of those guys are still they still remember that. So as many guys have turned over on this roster, I think there's a lot of guys that are like, this is my chance to enact a little revenge.
Absolutely.
Get the ginger. So what do you got? Are you with me?
31-10.
Wow. There you
Nice.
go. That's a
I
good
think it's a
beat.
rocking chair ride. I think they're up big. They may they maybe get a score late,
Mhm.
but I think it's a rocking chair ride.
All right.
Donald.
I want to go.
The other Donald.
Yeah,
Which one?
Pete, we gotta stay with
Donald Kennedy.
I want to go 34-20 Birds.
Damn.
That's all you got to say?
Are you serious?
Not
Yeah.
Who's got the big please?
There's going to be a bunch of them. They're going to be all over the field.
Special teams,
Who's
defense.
the
No,
Santa,
it's going to
who's
be
the Santa Boot MVP gonna
all.
Oh,
I
we
don't-
didn't get our
I don't
MVP in.
know.
We'll announce it before you. go.
Okay.
I mailed them out today. So
All right,
don't
cool.
know.
Cool.
Miles Sanders 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, all right, dude.
No,
The whiskey talking.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Oh, I'm glad you're driving us tonight.
I'll go with AJ with 2.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go. That's a
that
good
means
one.
he would get another MVP.
All right, what do you got, Smitty?
31-17. I think that Washington maybe stays in it a little bit. Wentz maybe they get ball first, go down, score a touchdown. Wentz starts feeling his nuts, and then he's back, and then they just start. But yeah, 31-17.
Where's your big play at? Where's your MVP?
I would say I actually think that Devontae Smith
Okay.
and Dallas Goedert.
I like
both of
that.
them.
I was
I think they're going to key in on AJ Brown, which is going to open it up for everybody else.
so I'm
So
kind
2
of
passing touchdowns for Hurts. Speaking.
I'm kind of with the room so far. I think it's a I mean, besides maybe Don who had the blowout, but I think Washington keeps it competitive, and then late in the game, Eagles just pull away. I'm going to go 33-23. Okay.
Okay.
23.
He sounds like the guy on South Park.
Okay.
Is that
Hear me
the
out.
non-whiskey talking?
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
The thing that puts it away, which is something this team has lacked for a couple seasons now.
Jake Elliott touchdown.
No,
Another
that would be
spot tackle.
awesome. Now.
Touchdown.
Either a kick return or punt returned from this special team for a touchdown.
That reminded me.
Devin Allen.
Covey's got to go.
Cubby.
Yeah, that's what I'm
He's gotta
saying.
go.
It's either Covey or Allen.
He's got to go. He was disappointing.
Yeah, he's not really doing much. But
He should keep parking with the minions in the
maybe they
parking lot.
stick Quez back there.
Yeah, Covey did not show up last week.
So I'm going with that's my bold prediction for the
Right,
game this
special-
week.
He
Special
made it
teams
to he
TV.
made it to the league. You're just a conductor to Hurts train. Think about it that way.
Oh, I
Covey
could be
made
in
it
the
to the
league
league
any day.
Yeah, my ass.
If I
The
didn't
only
rip
thing
my
you
knee
need
up
to-
back in high
yeah.
school,
You'd be the water boy chasing the guys around. Hey Fletcher, you want a drink? Hey Cox.
Don't mind us, Don.
ew! Oh my
We
God,
get derailed really
Pickens made
easily.
an insane catch.
No one cares.
tonight.
Steelers
I'm
suck.
just saying.
Andrew,
What do you got,
yeah.
Andrew?
28-7 Eagles.
Ooh.
4
Big
points
plays,
more from
big
last
plays.
week.
Who makes a big play? Who has a big game?
Hassan Reddick.
All right,
All right.
Okay.
that would be nice.
I like that.
There you go.
Nate, what do you got?
I know you don't like to give scores, but come on.
Give us a bet. Give us a
shoot,
prop or
a
something.
bet.
Over. They covering
It's
the line.
6.5 right now. Are
The
you
bet,
taking
yeah,
that?
I think that line's a little bit too high.
Too high.
Yeah, I think it's too high. It's
You think it's
man,
close?
We know these.
Division games.
It's
are
a
tough.
division
I-
game.
yeah,
Is tough.
I
Man.
hear you.
And I was looking at some of the history. We beat them twice last year, I think, and then the year before they beat us.
Yeah.
So and then obviously in the 2010s it was all Donovan. So we kind of beat them up pretty good, and they were never good. So if I was betting this game, I would lean Washington first half. I think it's a pretty decent bet.
Really?
What? Wait.
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean, like
A
10-7
spread
or
or
The
something?
straight?
spread, yeah, the spread. It's
What's the
probably-
spread on the
It'll
first
probably
half?
be 3.5, I would think.
I would think for the Eagles, right?
It would be plus
They're
3.5
giving- yeah.
Washington.
Yeah. So you're saying like 10-7 at half or something?
Something like that, like 17-14,
Okay.
something like that. That's where I would lean for the first half bet. The game, though, score, these games are always tough. So I'm thinking like 27-24. Like, I think Washington cover. If they lose, I think they cover. They keep this close. Like, as good as we look, like, I think me and Smitty agree on something today. That I think that Wentz is going to be up for this game. Like, Wentz has had this game circled for a while.
Yeah.
It's not in Philly. It's in Washington. Like, I understand there's going to be a lot of green in there, but it's also going to be packed with a lot of, hogs out there, man, that they used to call them.
Yeah.
So, and that stadium is trash, by the way. But I think it's going to be a good game. I really do. I really do. And we're going to see when if that pressure turns up a little bit. Let's see how Hurts handles that, and obviously how good Washington is. It's a good test for Washington.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's a good test for Washington because we like you guys said, Don, you said it, Don's with an S. You all said it, that when you look at this division and you look at this conference, you don't really see a lot
Yeah.
that can kind of mess with us.
Especially with Dak being hurt.
Right. So even if he was good, I don't believe in anything that Dallas
Cooper
is
Rush,
doing.
man.
So when you look at that, Washington could be a sleepy pick to make the playoffs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all thought it was
No,
Dallas.
come on. All right, slow down. Washington.
So here, listen. I just don't see where Washington scores point. I don't see the avenue when they match up with this defense.
Yeah,
I don't see where they.
I
just don't see where they put points up.
Yeah, that's
Detroit has more talent than Washington, man.
Do they
think so?
really?
Yeah,
You think-
Yes,
what?
I do. I think so.
They got a prep guy. Of course they got more talent.
They got a better running game.
That's close,
Their
man.
wide receivers
They got a better
are.
quarterback.
The
Yeah,
wide
but
receivers
better
are not
tight
better
end.
than Washington's wide receivers.
I think
I think
Hawkinson.
St. Brown's pretty good
Haw-
and DJ Charkey.
Hawkinson.
He ain't better than
Hawkinson-
Scary Terry though.
No,
Hawkinson, I'll give you.
I'll take
No, but the group though.
Yeah.
I'll take TJ Hawkinson over
Their
Logan
defense
Thomas.
is better right now.
Golf
but
or Wentz.
Goff.
Golf.
Really?
Dude,
Yeah.
Wentz,
I don't know.
he's
They're
a
both
broken man,
trash.
dude. He stinks.
So,
bad,
listen,
but-
Wentz is totally the guy that has all the intangibles, right? He's
Yeah.
got the strong arm. He's got the size and the arm strength.
He just can't put it together.
But he's got a fucking
got
noodle.
mental issues too.
Like,
Here's a
Like his brain, he steps on the field and his brain is like a bowl of ramen. Like
Yeah.
it's just like
No, and Don, I agree with you. The only thing that I have a problem with people who are so bad on Wentz is because we saw Wentz's peak.
right. Yeah.
And his peak is MVP. So when I
Correct.
see that
Correct.
in a person, if he can find it wherever it is, and he gets hot,
But
they're
he's been
going
searching-
to be
but-
good.
Yeah, but
So
here's
hold
the
on,
thing.
but pause
We
for a
saw
second.
the peak, but we
I've
also
been searching
saw
for a lot of things.
the mental
It ain't helping
piece
me.
of it where he
It's been 4
couldn't take a threat behind him,
yeah.
and he crumbled.
Yeah.
Right.
And
but
he
here-
wasn't looking
that-
over his shoulder in
And
Indianapolis.
in Indy, he was hated in the locker room too.
And that peak isn't going to happen this week.
Well, in
No, but-
Indy, we're seeing that Frank Wright might not
Yeah,
be
Frank
really a
Wright
good
no,
coach.
I know that.
The
but
Colts
I'm
might
saying
actually stink.
The players,
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
the players felt the same way in Indy as the Eagles players did. He
I
was
mean,
a me guy and a selfish guy.
I'm not disagreeing with you, and maybe the guys in Washington are falling in line. But all I'm saying is that when we just comparing the Detroit team, I don't know. I don't think that Detroit Like I didn't think that Detroit team was that good.
Yeah, I agree.
But didn't Detroit just beat Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
But here's the thing though, right? You're talking about him if he can get back to that apex, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time since he gets injured in that year when he gets injured and
Shut up.
but he gets injured in that year where they win the Super Bowl, right? So and he was if that season plays out, he's MVP. No question asked. Like he was light years ahead of everybody. But from the time that he came back and started playing for this team again, and then goes to Indy and is now in Washington, when was the last time you saw a glimpse of what you saw in that Super Bowl year?
He didn't. He had 3 opportunities to get the Colts to
It
the
was ever
playoffs.
since he left his
And
high
didn't do
school
it.
sweetheart and then had a kid with this random. That was it. It was downhill for him. Think about it.
You know what I'm saying?
It was the injury. It was the injuries that he had.
35-14.
There you go.
35-14. It's a garbage extra touchdown for Washington at the end of the game.
35-14.
I think you're going to see like the Kayvon Wallace's at the end of this game. You're not going to see Minshew.
That'd be nice.
But
and
I
enjoy the
think
rest of my
this is an
Sunday.
easy game. Look, they have no running game. Their best running back is really a receiver, and he hasn't done squat all season. Gibson. They're trying to put Curtis Samuel back. They're making Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And our strength, like I think everybody said it tonight. Right now, it's the secondary. If Wentz has got to throw the ball, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and we know
I
how
don't-
bad he is turning the ball over.
Yeah,
we saw it here.
Right. So I'm 35-14, and it's a garbage touchdown to even make it 14.
I agree. Like look at their defensive backs, right? Kendall Fuller, Jamon Davis, right? Kareem Curl, like those are the guys that are going to be covering AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Zach Pascal, Kenny Gainwell. I'll take my group versus that group any day and twice on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I realized there was one question we forgot to ask. It's probably a good one to go out on. Were you happy when Andy Reid won the Super Bowl? Were you happy for Andy when he won a Super Bowl?
Oh God.
As a dude, sure. As an Eagles fan, I couldn't give 2 shits.
All right.
That's a
You kinda
that's actually a good
caveated
answer.
it, but
Yeah,
that's
that's a good answer.
The right answer is no.
He didn't like that answer.
I didn't like that answer.
The right answer was no.
That was the most
No.
unique one we had.
Yeah,
Right.
But we don't.
The right answer is no. I couldn't give 2 shits, other than the fact that my next door neighbor is a Chiefs fan.
No, we don't know your next door neighbor. We don't care.
Exactly. And nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody knows my next door neighbor.
Sounds good.
All right, Don, thanks for hanging out
Yeah,
with us.
man.
We took
Please.
more time than I asked for, but I'm glad you were willing to hang around with us. Again, like you're close. If you guys want to come in the
Listen.
studio all night with us and hang out, we'd love to have you.
All right. Well, listen. By the end of the season, we'll make something work.
We'll make something
Sounds
work.
Figure something out.
All right, tell us again where we can find you guys.
Listen, we do our live shows on Wednesday nights. We have our Broad Street line where you can call and leave the fan reactions to Philly sports. You can call it at 267-405-3062. You can call, leave a message. We'll play it on the show. So check us out. All of our stuff is on our social media feed, on our link tree. We're putting out highlights every morning from the nights, the previous night's game. So and we're just like you guys. It's kind of eerie to listen to you all because the conversations we're having are exactly the same. So I really appreciate you guys having me on, and definitely look forward to a time where we can do it kind of in person.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
We enjoyed it. And more importantly, you had all the correct answers to our questions. Every stinking one of them.
I appreciate it.
All
All right, Don. Thanks. Take care. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
All right, boys. It's another episode in the books. We didn't even get to the standard thing. So
we touched on it a little.
We touched on it a little bit. Let's really grab it instead of just touching on it. We're going to grab it. Yeah, we tickled it. We're going to grab it and really.
We haven't tickled any money lines this year.
Get our hands
grab it by the horns.
We're going to get our hands on it. Really, really massage it.
We have yet to tickle some funny lines this year, so we got to get on that.
We're raising the standard in here, boys.
What's the standard?
We have standards.
We have standards. I'm trying to keep you guys to standard.
Below floor level to begin with. So.
No, we were.
There's a lot to raise for this show.
So I'm trying.
Do you want us to start dressing professional?
I would like collars every night. Would be great.
Okay.
Pronouns.
I got your collar.
Yeah, name tags.
Yeah. All right.
We'll work on that. If we can, Jalen's expecting a standard out of his guys. I'm expecting a standard out of my guys. And I'm expecting Yards to help us keep this standard going. So Yards Brewing Company, we would love if you'd be the standard of the Santa Boot First podcast.
Now that was good. That was one of the better ones.
Looking at our podcast tonight, we left some money on the table.
We did leave a little money.
We need to get back to
relax, Jalen.
We got a whole week. We got a whole. It was a short week
for prepared.
It was a short week, right?
Yeah. We only
We got a whole week to prepare.
Yes.
We have one less night.
We left a little money on the table.
We did. All right. So we got our predictions in.
We already missed about the first half of tonight's
MVPs. We sent out our stickers. Offensive MVP, of course, Jalen Hurts, 333 a TD, 58 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. Statement game for Hurts.
80% completion.
You guys,
first player in NFL history.
That did not buy a ticket tonight.
No, but over 80%. First player in NFL history.
Okay.
There may be a requirement of wearing, handlebars or shaving your head or shaving an eyebrow to get on the train. Maybe
we'll have to discuss that.
Maybe the entry fees going forward from here on out.
You're not touching this head of hair, dude.
Then you might lose an eyebrow.
Yeah,
what are you gonna?
I don't know. We'll have to talk.
I guess the beard's not good enough.
I'll shave the beard before I touch the hair.
Would you go Fu Manchu?
I'd have to grow. I don't really grow it out too good on the stash. It's too blonde. I mean,
you're too blonde all over.
Yeah, it's. But if I shave, I look like I'm 10. So.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is. When you're trying to get into a bar and a bouncer's grilling your ID, like,
All right.
And I'm 24.
You'll learn to appreciate it.
I'm sure when I'm 50, but I ain't there yet.
And Slay got the defensive MVP of the week for NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and also should have had.
I wonder what
should have had 4 interceptions.
Oh, he should have way more than
one of them should have been a pick 6. But
which one do you think he values more, the NFC player, defensive player of the week, or the Santa Boot first?
He already has it on his story.
How's that even a question?
Yeah, I mean, he'll have it on his locker.
I will say, I'm not going to lie. There was a video, a locker room video with AJ, and his locker was behind him, and I was like
really?
freezing it, like. Zooming in to see if I could see the sticker anywhere.
We got to start putting it on social media.
I did think about tagging Jen.
Yeah.
You should.
I should have took a picture. Shit, I did take the picture.
Yeah, you did. You sent it to us in a chat today.
Yeah, you sent it in our group chat.
I'll go for about like 300 text messages, but you'll find it.
But you're not involved in it, so shut up.
It's R-rated.
All right. That's good. Any last comments? Red October's not happening. All right,
shut
folks.
up,
We will
dude.
see you.
Shut up. They're winning 1-0 right now.
The actual to each other. Red October's not happening.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed for Red October.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Don't
panic.
Don't panic.
Selfish.
All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us again on another episode of the Santa Boot First podcast. Thanks to Don from Drunk on Broad. Like I said, hopefully we're all drunk on Broad.
Yep.
Come February.
3 Dons drunk on Broad.
Jeez.
I don't know if I want to be anywhere near that, but hey, enjoy your week. Be excellent to each other. Go Birds.
Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory.